Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, glad to have y'all in with us this afternoon. I don't know about where y'all at, but down here and even in South Alabama, it is pretty chilly this afternoon. Uh, Glad we missed y'all last week, but we're glad to be back tonight. Got my buddy Joey Kirby in with us. Hey, and got us a special guest in with us. This guy don't live far from us. I'm gonna try to figure out some of his tips and techniques tonight. Mr. Michael Hilliard. Michael, great to have you in with us this afternoon, man.
Hey, glad to be here, guys.
Yes, sir. And Joey, glad to have you with us, man. And what you got on your mind, Joey?
Not much. As Stacy said last Tuesday, Stacy and I was in Alabama catfishing, so we didn't have much signal there, and had a good time. I had Doug Walker and his couple of his buddies, Shannon and Brent or whatever his name, with us, and we had a grand old time.
Yeah, we did. We did. We had a really good time, man, and we didn't catch. Me and you didn't catch the fish we was usually catching, but man, we always have a good time. You know what? I tell people all the time, if um, being out there on the water is just a place, man, that I just love to be. Catching fish is a really big bonus, but just being there, man, is just everything. It's just my relaxing place, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we got my buddy in with us tonight. His name is Trent Williams. He is in the house. I call him the Mr. SmackDown Daddy. Guys, hey, Joey, if y'all ain't seen Trent Williams, y'all need to follow him on Facebook. I'm telling you. Trent, good to have you in with us this afternoon, man. Appreciate everything you do. We got several people already coming in to chat. We got the big cat catcher, Mike Mitchell. Mike, I want to thank Mike. Also runs does some guiding, and Mike, if you can correct me on this, but I think he does some guiding on Wheeler and Wilson. And I want to just tell y'all, if y'all looking for somebody that can put you on some big fish, Mike Mitchell is the man that can do it. He's the legend around North Alabama. So Mike, good to have you in with us on chat this afternoon. Joey, what else you said? If I missed anything in chat, hey, we got Steve Stacy in. Steve Stacy is the owner of Real Catnapper Rods. He has been a big contributor here to this program, and Steve, glad to have you in the house with us this afternoon. Troy Smith.
We got Big Doug tuned in from his pool hall, and his Shannon. I think he's got Shannon over there. They bought him a new popcorn machine, Stacy. It's one of them big popcorn machines.
Well, they gonna need a big one.
Hey, a big one. Anyway, he said last night he called me and said Shannon wasn't too happy because he was going to have to clean up all the popcorn on the floor. And I said, Doug, when you're not at the pool hall, he's going to post a sign. Anybody eating popcorn must stay outside. So Doug's little gig is this, Stacy, between me and you. He said he's going to make Shannon put a whole lot of salt on it. That way, people that come here and play pool will drink a whole lot of pops and beer and stuff. So he ain't no dummy.
You know what? And I know he's watching, and I'm telling you right now, it's a wonder he ain't done come into chat and said something. And I knew it when I put this white hoodie on tonight, because it gives me so much problem about my goatee being white. He said it blend in with my other hoodie. So, Doug, I don't want to hear it. I don't hurt my feelings tonight. Guys, let's get into talking some catfishing. We got Mr. Michael Hilliard with us this afternoon. He's a guy that I just sort of got acquainted with a little bit. Actually, he's a catfisherman and don't live far from me. He lives within 50 miles of me. Sort of fishes the northern end of a lot of the body of water that I fish. And Michael, I've noticed, man, the last since we've sort of come acquainted and we started following each other on Facebook, man, you catch a lot of good catfish up on the upper end of the Alabama River. I just want to get you in, man, and give us a little bit about yourself and tell the people where you're from.
Well, I'm from right here in Prattville, just north of Montgomery. I grew up hunting and fishing this area all my life. It's just something I've always loved to do. And here in the past, I guess 2 years, I've really fell in love with the catfishing, which I've always done it. But here in the past 2 years, I really got after it and figured out little tricks here and there, and it's paid off for me for sure.
Michael, you fished the what they would call the R.F. Henry or the Jones Bluff area, mostly of the Alabama River. And the guys are not familiar with this. The Coosa River comes down from Mitchell and Jordan, and they dump in. I think the Tallapoosa, is that the Tallapoosa that comes over from and comes in there somewhere, and that's what feeds in and forms the head of the Alabama River, and it goes from there around down halfway between Prattville and Selma, and there's the R.F. Henry Dam. So that's the reservoir that you fish a lot of. Notice that I think that you won one of the Alabama Catfish Series tournaments up there back this year, didn't you?
I placed second in one of them over on the Coosa. Placed second and placed fifth in the one over in Demopolis.
Yes, sir. Well, let's talk a little bit about the techniques and stuff that you do. And I know you probably run into the same thing I do. We're controlled by the Corps of Engineers, and there's a lot of water. You never know what they're going to do. A guy told me one time we got the number to the dam to get the generating schedule, but when he gets through telling you the schedule, he always says this is subject to change. And a guy told me, he said one time the most accurate thing about the recording was this is subject to change.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I got out there, was it last Wednesday night, and they were pulling a little bit of water, and we were there maybe an hour and a half, and next thing we know, we got dead water. It's just sitting still, and I was expected to run at least till 10 o'clock, which, it never works out what you expect it to. So.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. Michael, you do it. Your biggest technique is going to be anchor fishing. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's all I do is anchor fish. I've tried some dragging before, but I haven't figured out the whole technique to it yet. But anchoring is paying off for me. So, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And I promise you this: me and you, I'm gonna teach you how to do that dragging. That's coming. We're gonna set up a trip. What is your setup? One of the things that you're using when you set up for anchor fishing, Michael, what kind of rig do you use? And the basic thing like the Carolina rig, what everybody, the majority of people use?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just Carolina rig, and I've got my Joey Kirby floats on there. That usually always pays off. So I got that set up. I run 12-aught, Dale circle hooks. And everybody here, we all know what we use for bait, skipjack, and it pays off well.
It's a deadly combo, isn't it?
What's that?
I said it's a deadly combo.
It gets it done. Yes, sir. It gets it done every time.
No gimmicks about it. Stacy and I use it all the time. I know a lot of times, or sometimes when we fish at Willer below that dam in particular, on Wilson, we might throw a few out without those floats. But it seems to me a lot of times, man, they pay off. I think the 3 or 4 biggest fish that Stacy and I caught down there, they had floats on them, I believe. So I guess it's just something about holding that bait up off the bottom, whether you're dragging, pulling planer boards, or even anchor fishing.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, it pays off for me. Just it works.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Michael. Your bait of choice, and y'all excuse me for this popping up. I get that thing over here, and I messed this up last week, so that name that popped up ain't nothing. Michael, the bait that you use, skipjack. Do you ever use shad?
Every now and then. I haven't used shad, and I can't remember when. I guess it was back in September. I was out fishing by myself and using skipjack, and had probably one of the best nights ever, and was catching so many fish I ran out of skipjack and had to go throw my net and catch shad. So that's the last time I did it, back in September probably. But most time my go-to is skipjack.
Yeah, Michael, let's talk about this just a little bit. Now I want to know what your opinion is, because for years I've been fishing for catfish on the Alabama River. I mean, for years, virtually all my life, and I used to not fish with nothing but shad. I didn't have any idea about skipjack, and we fished with shad all the time. And but when I went to skipjack, I started using them, and I've noticed personally, I still have a habit of wanting to find me fresh shad and work for them, and I've tried them side by side with skipjack. Frozen skipjack on top of that, and fresh shad, and that shad it has yet to outperform that skipjack. Have you noticed some of the same thing?
Oh yeah. I mean, same boat. I've had both out, and 9 times out of 10, those catfish are going to hit that skipjack long before they hit that shad. And it's I get upset when I start getting low on skipjack, because I know I got to go try to find some. So.
I don't even use them hardly.
Yeah,
if I don't,
I would say this.
I probably won't even go fishing.
I would say this, Michael, and I don't know what your experience is, but I'm just going to try to help some people who fish this river chain on the Alabama River. And like I said, the part that we fish, I fish from Montgomery all the way to Mobile. And the skipjack is by far, I mean, hands down. And I have been a big shad guy for years, and I'm not saying I still don't use them. If I'm flathead fishing, I really like to have me some fresh shad. They paid off for me, but it seemed like when I have put them side by side, there's no comparison about the results. And I told my wife last time I would spend sometimes an hour and a half trying to get, even when I had frozen skipjack, trying to get fresh shad. And I think my last time that I spent about an hour throwing a cast net to get shad, and we fished all day, and I didn't catch hardly nothing on shad, and they all come on skipjack. I said, I'm through with that. I'm sticking with stick with skipjack.
Yeah.
Hey, I've seen it. Stacy and I fish. I know a few times. I don't know, 4 or 5 times or so. Stacy went up to the dam area there where we fish a lot, and got some. And Edmund even brought him some monster shad. And I just he tied several of them on, and just I guess until they prove to me that they work good, I won't. I just there's some people that swear by them. I just had never had, and I've filleted them. I've cut their heads off. I've cut their bodies off. I've tried all of that. I've tried cutting half and folding it over and all of that. I just, if I don't have some decent skipjack, I'm not going to say that I won't go fishing, but I feel so much better if I have some decent skipjacks.
Yeah. Hey, Joey, have you seen anything in chat? Any questions, anything?
I know they're SDCing and they're wanting this hat for some reason. I think there's a few of them wanting your hat, Stacy. I don't know what all they're going on. I'm gonna give away one of these hats here tonight. I'm gonna give away one of these hats and another little thing to go with it. So we're gonna do that. I tell you what, let's do right now, Joey. We do have a pair of heavy-duty Dale's grippers, and this is gonna come. This giveaway here is fixing to come with a pair of grippers and iced tea. No, I'm just showing them how big these grippers are. Dale had some smaller ones there for a while, but these here, I caught a pretty decent fish today, and I looked all over my boat on them SmackDown rod holders where I normally keep it clamped, and they were sitting in here in my house, still in the package in my computer room. So I did get them off tonight, ready to put them on my boat. But these things here are, I believe he said also to let them know that these are $9.99 tonight on his webpage. But I think we got a couple pairs and a couple packs of 12-aught hooks we're going to give away, Stacy.
Yeah, we're going to give this first giveaway. You're going to get a heavy duty. These right here are heavy duty fish grippers, and you're going to win a pack of 12-aught Dale's Tackle circle hooks. So if you've got your name in the chat, we're fixing to choose one from there. Joey, go ahead and
we got there's several people tuned in tonight. Chris Russell, Zach, Big Bama Brown, I seen him tuned in. Mike Mitchell, Ed Hubert. I've seen Apollo Smith's in. Andy Newsom. We got a whole crew tonight, Stacy. I believe there's over 100 or so on online. I believe they're talking about. I think it's the same old troublemakers. It's Dale and Chad Bryant and all them people wanting hats and all this kind of stuff. So y'all don't. What we're going to fix and do, Stacy, is we're going to have two comment sections, one for rebels and one for people that's got sense. So those 3 or 4 can sit over there and bicker back and forth and want hats and all this kind of stuff.
I need to put my name in that little badge for the hat too, right? No.
Robert Thomas is in that. Hey, Stacy, Robert Thomas is in that group too. He's a rebel.
You telling me that that Dale and Chad has done corrupted Robert?
He's all in with them.
Guys, I appreciate y'all being a part of Chad and having a good time in here. I've got the winner of the Dale's Tackle, and this is going to be a heavy duty grip and fish grippers and a pack of 12-aught circle hooks. I'm fixing to pop your name up here. Zach Weaver. Zach, you are the winner of this right here. If you would, you can contact me up under Stacy Gasson or SmackDown CatFishing and send me your address, and I'll make sure it gets to Dale and we get this to him. Zach, we appreciate you being a part of our program, man, and tuning in with us along with everybody else. We appreciate y'all being active in the chat, just having a good time. So y'all continue to stay tuned in with us. We're going to have another pack of that to give away, and I'm going to give away one of these SmackDown catfishing hats right here. Let's get back to talk a little bit of catfishing. Go back to Michael. Me and you was off not too long ago when we was talking fishing on the Alabama, over here on the river, on the Bama River. What's the biggest fish that you've caught off of that reservoir?
That area right there is 58 pounds was the biggest fish I pulled off here.
Yeah. And me and you were talking 58. That 60-pound mark seems to be the gold standard. Yeah, I told you, I said, my goal is to break that 60-pound mark. And I have, like you, I've hit 58, I think, twice. And I'm like, man, I just cannot find that 60-pounder.
I know they're elusive out there for sure.
Yeah, they sure are. They're hard to find. And I had told somebody one time, if I could ever, my goal is to catch 170. And that would probably be one of my biggest accomplishments that I've ever done, is to catch 170 pounds on rod and reel off of the Alabama River.
Yeah, it's a tough
I take a
water
picture of it and frame it.
Michael, he's caught 200-pound plus catfish.
Joey, you just don't know how hard You don't know how hard every day that I go to the Alabama River, I'm thinking, man, I want one to bust over 60, but my goal is a 70-pounder. And I'm telling you, it seems to be, just really tough to do. But you've caught several, I've noticed, man, you've caught several good fish. What I call, man, these are quality fish to be caught on the Alabama River. When you start catching them 40 pounds and 50 and 35, 40s and 50s, and you doing it pretty consistent, I mean, that's a pretty tough task in itself on that body of water.
It is. It is. I've surprised myself a few times out there with the amount of fish and the size of fish that I do catch. Matter of fact, last week I had a couple guys come in from Texas to fish with me, and I put both of them on their personal best fish ever. And I mean, they were ecstatic, and they were like, "Oh man, this is great fishing. This isn't like at home." I said, "Well, don't get used to it because it's not always like this."
Yeah, that's awesome. I love Stacy and I both. I love taking people out. And I took a fella that I played softball with maybe 2 years ago, and we anchored up, and it wasn't 10 minutes. His rod started bowing over and ripping drag, and he jumped up, and he started, "You're the man," and you did. I said, "Listen, it don't happen that way." I went today and fished 8 solid hours, and it was 30 degrees, and I had 2 bites, and I caught 1 fish, and I loved it. So I'm glad it works out like that, but some of them people don't realize how much time that it takes. Just like you, Michael. Stacy was saying how much you've improved. Probably your number one thing is going out there and spending time. How many times have you gone out there and gotten skunked?
Oh, quite a few. Quite a few.
Hey, Troy Smith's in the chat over here, Stacy. He said to let y'all locals know he's got plenty of crickets, and that's what y'all need to be using.
Hey, Michael, I've noticed one more thing, and I'm gonna get to this question here we have on here by Larry Groves. But Michael, I've noticed that you do a lot of fishing at night. Is that what you prefer?
I do. Nighttime is what I prefer. Yes, and 2 reasons why. It's easier for me to get out there and fish at nighttime than it is daytime working a full-time job and owning a business. But I'm a ginger. I'm pale skinned, so I'll get burned up in the sunlight out there. So nighttime fishing is a whole lot easier on me.
Yeah. So what's your idea of depth of water that you fish, Michael? That you mainly look for, or is it just random?
Mainly I'm looking, 30, 35 foot. But it has a lot to do with that too. I'm looking for maybe a big flat with a drop. Especially at nighttime. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, and even night times, I'll fish 15, 20 foot of water. If I know, if I'm marking fish, if I think it's a good spot. Yeah. Matter of fact, I caught a 47 pounder one night in about 13 foot of water. I was anchored up in the channel where I knew them fish would be coming into the shallows to feed on the bait fish up there. And it was a funny story. I was anchored up, been there maybe about an hour, and I thought, well, I'm not gonna catch anything, so I'm gonna reel up. So I grabbed my first rod, I reeled it up and tossed over in the Florida boat, turned back around, and the other rod was bent down to the water, and he was hooked up. So I thought maybe I need to sit just a little bit longer then.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael, when you're out looking around, is there certain things you're looking for, or you just going off the instinct, or what is it that catches your eye?
I try to fish. If I can find some sloughs, little small sloughs, ain't gotta be very big, little cuts. I'll try to anchor up either above, below it. But what's really funny is, y'all might think this is crazy, but I'll ride around and go, this looks like a good place to fish, and usually that's what I do. I'll troll through there and toss an anchor and give it a whirl, and usually it pays off. So
yeah, Michael, there's some things I've tried to break, and this, that, and another, to some habits. But I'm going to tell you, I sit around sometimes, and I put some faith and confidence in my electronics. But I sit around, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going back to my instincts. and this just looks like a good place. And I don't even care if I don't even see a fish in my graph. I'm like, hey, I'm fixing the fish right here. And Joey, I think me and you put up there and we caught them flatheads, you know, and we were looking around. I'm like, I see some, I don't know what's here, but we fishing it.
Yeah.
And
Stacy will see a stick. He'll see a stick laying there, and we'll go up and anchor down on it. The first fish, what was we there, Stacy? 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Never,
30 minutes at the most.
Stacy, we seen some little bit of structure, anchored up on it, and what was it? A
60-something pound flathead.
60-something pound flathead. I mean, it's all you look for is something different. Like you, Michael, I'm with you, man. I love them slopes. I love fishing them ledges. It's even better when you see a tree or something land beside it. I mean, it's anything different. Stacey, there's a couple questions about Paula Smith was wanting to know, does y'all's river section there, does y'all's water temperature normally stay about the same as what Wheeler and Wilson would be, you think?
I don't know if it's, I don't know. I will say this. The other day, Wilson and Wheeler was around 60 degrees. I don't know what the Alabama River is right now, but I would say it's probably not far off of that.
All right. Well, I was out yesterday morning, and it was 62 degrees. The water temp was. Yeah. So
now, you know, I don't know if I've ever hardly seen it below 48. I've seen it get down pretty cold, you know. That had to be pretty cold for a long period of time, but that's really the lowest I think that I can remember seeing it, you know, in the last couple of years is around 48 degrees. I still fish it at 48. I just anchor down and just camp there, you know, because it does get sort of slow. And I'm like, well, I ain't expecting to catch but a couple of fish today. It's getting really, really slow. But, you know, I've caught flatheads in 48, that 48 degree temperature water. It's just really, really slow.
Yeah.
But
I think it was 55 here today, the water temperature.
I would say it probably don't move much. From what I've noticed in the last year or two, and I haven't been fishing Wheeler and Wilson, but maybe 5 years now. It don't vary a whole lot off of that. But we are on a lot smaller river. What is it? Maybe a couple hundred yards wide, Michael.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's a good sized river like the Tom Bigby and stuff. But getting back to one other thing, and I ain't gonna share anything that probably everybody else don't know. But you made mention of it just a while ago, and I'm telling you that them creeks, them sloughs, them little, it ain't gotta be much. Anything that feeds into that river, it's almost, man, them fish hold around their spots.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially you know, I find out, you know, late spring, I catch a lot of flatheads coming out of those the creeks coming back into the river. I guess they're done spawning and they're ready to feed up, and I've catch a lot of flatheads that way. But my main fish that I catch majority of the time is going to be old blues. If I start catching channels, I just reel up and move somewhere else.
There was a lady on here, Stacy, that I think it was on up in the comments. She was wanting to know how long. Say if you're going to anchor up, how long do you normally give it a spot? Say a spot that you don't. I know you got some honey holes that you'll sit there for hours, but just say you pull up to a random spot and you see something that you want to fish, and you throw your anchor out and you throw your rods out. What kind of time frame do you have if it's slow, I guess? I know it's silly to say how long do you sit there if you're catching fish. You're obviously not going to move, but how long do you give a spot to produce before you pull up and leave?
Usually an hour tops. You know, if I'm not getting any bites at all, you're looking maybe 40, 45 minutes and I'm moving. I mean, you know, if they're not there, hey, ain't no point wasting no time right there. So
I know Stacy's about 5 minutes. If I'm pulling anchor, if I'm pulling an anchor, he's 5 minutes.
Hey, Joey. When me and Michael went fishing and I was pulling the anchor, he looked up at me and said, "You know how Joey feels now, don't you?"
Well, I just hope he had one of your anchors tied on there, because then you really can know how I feel, because that joker there, when it falls and it hits, it's locked. It don't matter if you're in if you're in 3 mile an hour current and you throw that thing, you better have some slack in that line to tie it off, because if you don't, it's going without you.
Ask Dustin Fall, will it pull you in?
That's right.
Hey, let me get back to this one. You know what I found out with the time limit? The colder it is, the longer I will set, and the hotter it is, my time starts to shorten down. And so summertime, if it's hot, 30 minutes and we gone. And 30 minutes and we gone. And I'm starting to hit these places. The colder it gets, we're looking at, hey, it gets in the deep winter. I'm sitting here an hour if we don't get a bite, and I'm bad a bite. Well, if we get a bite, we're going to add 20 minutes to it, or 15 minutes from the last fish we caught, if it was a decent fish, and just go from there. Let me get back to this question right here, because I think this is probably something that a lot of people interested in. Larry Gross asked, how long, and I'm going to say, how long will you leave skipjack in the freezer, when you're using them? This is me. I don't know. There may be some other people that has ideas. You can throw your comments in the comment section over here, because I know a lot of people are interested in that. One of the what is he doing?
Right.
One of the things that I look for, and somebody put in here 6 months, I would say that's probably around my cutoff. If they're vacuum sealed and they still got that seal to them, and you look at them in the freezer and they still sort of shiny, a lot of time when you let them unthaw and you cut them, to me, I can just tell a difference when they start to lose their mojo, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they're just a little bit too old. And I think somewhere around that 4 to 6 month thing, it may be, and that may just be in my mind, but it seemed like, I start to lose a little confidence when I start to cut them and I don't see that blood and stuff, and that fish don't have that look to him like he did have, a month or two after you had him froze.
Stacy, I think it's just as important. I know most people don't have a vacuum sealer. They'll put them in the big Ziploc bags, but if you squeeze the air out of them bags good and stuff, I like them a month or so. I know the admin and people like that's got them big industrial vacuum sealers. Them things work awesome. But also a big key to me is some people just grab them out and go fishing. I tend to let them thaw out for 24, 30 hours or so before I'm going to go, and they're so much better. You can tell if they're good or not. If you cut them and they're good and unthawed and they don't bleed, they're probably time to get some fresh. No,
Hey, I'll add $5 on that myself.
No, I'm not. No.
Let's see if it'll work, Joey.
That thing's their grip now. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh man, yeah, they do have a grip. I tell you what, let's do, Joey. Let's go ahead and let's give away a. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna give away a SmackDown hat, and I got another couple little things that I'm gonna throw in there with that.
Give them a minute. Hang on. Give them a minute to do their SDCs, because they're going crazy right now. Chad, y'all, that's not going to happen. I ain't no dummy. I wouldn't clip them. I'd have to go to the emergency room and get COVID and all kind of stuff to get them things off. That ain't happening. and I don't need $5.
Hey, I'll make it
We're
10.
gonna give away this. So they putting it in here. I'm fixing to get ready.
Yep, I agree on the skipjacks. Just make sure you let them unthaw good. If you cut them and use them for bait and they're not bleeding, to me, it's not that I wouldn't use them. You use what you have to use, but the fresher, the better. But them good vacuum sealers, Doug, I know Doug, when he goes and sees Edmund, he brings back a stack. He said that he's had some that he's got from Edmund for a year. And it don't bother him one bit to use them. So it all depends. Let them slowly unthaw.
Joey, I will say this: that vacuum sealing with no air in them is key to me.
For sure.
I mean, it is, especially for length of time. I've noticed it when you put them in there, they stay for a long time versus just throwing them in a Ziploc bag. And I do them in a Ziploc bag, but most of the time that's the first ones I'm using. But if you're going to be keeping them, 4 to 6 months, it seems like it makes a difference now when it's vacuum sealed and all that air is out of them. I'm fixing them.
There's a fella here that wants to know, Michael, why you pull your anchor up when you catch channel catfish?
I'm there for size. I ain't there for eaters.
There you go.
I'm there for the big fish.
I got you.
Because they'll take over a spot. I've done it before. I've sat there and caught channels all night long, and I thought, well, that's all that's here, so I'm not fishing this spot anymore. I'm moving on up the river. So
hey, Stacy, Charles Crook says, get Troy to give away one of them big boxes of $1.39 pound USDA.
Oh man, I'll make it hit him up. He might would give us a bag of them meat skins for that.
Some pork rind.
Yeah. Here's the winner. I've got a hat, and we're going to throw a couple more things in with that. Value of $50. And the winner of that right there, hold on, is Chris Russell. Chris, contact me. You're the winner of one of these SmackDown hats, and we got a few other items that we're going to throw in there with that. So give me your, send me a message, give me your address, and Chad Bryant, we want to thank you, man, for donating to this program. We got one more giveaway we're going to do before we get off of here tonight, and that's going to be another heavy-duty pliers and Dale's Tackle 12-aught hooks. I want to make mention to some people that have went over and beyond with helping with us, and that right there is Jeff Miller from RS Nets, Dale's Tackle, Daniel Foley Spoon. Daniel, we appreciate everything that you've done. Steve Stacy with Real Catnappers, Troy Smith, Charles Crook with Meat Hunter Rods, Robert Thomas. Man, we want to thank y'all so much for being able to make this program and make it what it is. Anything else anything else you got on your mind over there, Michael, that you want to share?
No. I just like to thank SmackDown CatFishing and Dale's Tackle. I mean, that's what I use, and I mean, you can't go wrong with those two combinations. I promise you. So,
yeah, Joey, what else you got, man? Is anything else in chat?
I'm with Michael. I tend to run with the good guys, and we're fortunate, Stacy. I know when you and I talked about doing this show, it was just pretty much sharing with people what you and I talk about every day. And we've got so many people that jump on and want to contribute and sit in here and chat all night long. And it's a good time. And we're fortunate. We got a pretty good show going. Everybody looks forward to watching the show. And of course, I think everybody's I'll probably speak for everybody when I say this, Stacy. A lot of the people's favorite part is the very end of the show when you give us a little message, especially in this day and time. It's a crazy world. You never know from one day to the next, and I think your word inspires a whole lot of people. So there's a lot of people that they even tune in on to Sunday mornings waiting for you to give us a little message. So I'll speak for the rest of the catfish community. We're awful thankful for you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, Joey. Well, let's do this right here. We're gonna get. Let me do this before let's go ahead and give away this last package right here. They said you're gonna do it. I wish I was close by.
There ain't no way. You'll say whoever wins these, I'll tell y'all what, big guys. Whoever wins these, I will pay you $50. PayPal cash. If you hook these not under your lip, because you can probably do that. You put it on top of your lip and you clamp them down, and blood squirts out. I will send you $50.
I want a waiver. I'm not responsible for none of this.
People, I'm not. You know the little kid, I double, triple dog dare you when he sticks his tongue on the pole. And it's not happen. I've learned from watching that. So y'all might as well just get that out of your minds. It's not going to happen. But these things seriously are. I know a lot of you know how to do them, but when you hook them fish on there and they start twirling around, just let go of them. Make sure the fish is in your boat. Let go of them, and they'll roll with your fish. Or I know Stacy said that he's going to put a big swivel or something on there. But these things right here, I know that there's a lot of people that carry them, but you'll see when you get them, these things are bulky and they clamp down. So, and I think I already said it, but they're $9.99 on Dale'sTackle.com tonight. I think it's tonight only, but if you're looking for some, get them.
The winner of the last package there from Dale's Tackle is Jason Moses. So, Jason, if you would, you just send me a message with your address, and I'll make sure we get this right here in touch with Dale's Tackle, and he'll get these right here out to you. I want to leave with something today. And it is in the book of Psalms, chapter 34. I don't know if anybody ever reads the Bible any, but you know, Psalms and Proverbs just got a lot of good stuff in it. And most of it just got some stuff that's it's encouraging to you. And David was a man that went through a lot of stuff. If you never read about David, you can find his story in 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings. It's very, very interesting of all the things that he'd been through, because you can relate to the hardships and the persecution that he took and all the stuff he went through and faced. It took a lot for him to get to where he was at, and just a lot of stuff. And this is what he wrote here. He said, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. He says, oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and he delivered me from all of my fears. I want to tell you, folks, the Lord says you'll find him when you seek him with everything that's within you. And I'm 52 years old. I've been through some hard times in my life. I made a comment the other day. I said I've had life when I've had plenty, and I've been in life when I didn't know what I was going to do. But one thing that I've always found out, 52 years, and the Lord has never forsaken me. He's been the one that has upheld me. He's been the one that's picked me up when I'm down. He's never let me down. I've failed him a lot of times. And I like to say it this way. There's been times in my life when I haven't been faithful to him, but there's never been a time when he hasn't been faithful to me. He's always been faithful to me. And that's a Savior that we have. I want to just pray God's blessings upon y'all. I know we're in tough times and tough situations and so many things. And one of the things I always remind of is in Psalms chapter 91. He said he would give his angels charge over us to protect us and to watch over us. And I pray that over my family. I pray that over your family, that he protect us from any harm or danger, any sickness or disease, in Jesus' mighty name. God bless y'all. Y'all have a great afternoon, and we'll see y'all again here next week. We'll see y'all.